Well, hello, and welcome to the podcast. Today, we have a first time on this podcast, which is I'm speaking with someone who is an expert in marketing and sales, which is a subject I love, but I never get to talk about because I'm in the mental health field. So, welcome, Neil, and please tell everybody about yourself.
Well, you're in the mental health field, so are we in the marketing business. It's the same gig.
Yes.
But yeah, I am a let's see, I'm a sales guy. I started out as a bartender 100 years ago. I was trying to get myself through school and kind of parlayed the interpersonal skills, and then I wrote a book on it that all the skills that you have from uh, little things that you learn as a bartender that translate into good practices as an outside salesperson. And I've been doing that. So I did that I tended bar for about 8-10 years while I was in college. Yes, it was that long. And then for the last 40 or so, 37 years or so, I've been selling. So I've been out in the field
Nice.
doing various things, sold athletic footwear and apparel, which is always kind of one that people love to hear. I sold food. And for the last 27 years, my wife and I have got a swag business.
A swag business. I love it. So you've been in everything. Let me ask you something because I was in sales for a long time, right? That's how I started. I also have worked many industries, uh, but I believe that sales has something to do with that. The personality of a salesman or someone that likes selling, they switch jobs a lot, and everything has to do with sales. So in bartending, can you do you believe that sales was a strong part of that career?
Oh, sure. I mean, well, what is the most important thing about being a salesperson? You're developing a relationship. Now, a bartender or a food server or a retail operator, whatever it is, has got about 15 minutes to 15 minutes to an hour to develop a relationship. We develop relationships in our business over a lifetime. We've got customers that we've been in business in the swag business for 27 years. We've got customers that we've had for 27 years. So it's very important to use those interpersonal skills and those first impression skills
Mm.
to kick off a good relationship. So yeah,
So
it's very important, I think.
that sales is basically in everything. Is one of the most important parts of any business, right? So why sales with you? What attracted you to sales?
Because I was never going to be an engineer.
Ah! That wasn't in the cards. It wasn't. Yeah, I
No,
got it. It was.
no, that was my father. My father was the engineer. I did not get the technical gene or whatever. Some of my other family members, some of my other brothers did, but not Neil. Never going to be in the cards. So I had to use my BS my BS and BS
To
to
get there.
get rolling. So, but it was I am also on the seventh of eight of a Irish Catholic family, and I'm the only
Ooh.
one that went the people route, though.
Got it.
Everybody else was. My oldest brother was a teacher. My second oldest brother was a teacher. Then he got into manufacturing. My third oldest brother was a teacher, and my next was a plumber. So he had a pretty successful plumbing business. And then my sister was always a stay at home. My other sister was stay at home, and then there was me.
Then I came along.
That's it. Oh, and believe me, there were no planned children back in 1950, whatever.
No, it was just as they come. We just see it as they come. So,
They didn't believe in anything irreversible.
yep, that's about right. And you also do you're also marketing. I was looking at your one sheet. Marketing is also your forte as well, right?
Yeah, so I mean, our marketing is more micro marketing.
Okay.
Okay, so we when we take people through a process to help them do business development work with the types of tools we use, like pens and post-it notes and all simple things like this, we make sure that they're really micro marketing. So it's more of a process than it is this, like, you know uh, we're not developing the next Coors Light campaign,
Got it,
right?
got it, got it, got it. So
It's
also
more along the line. Let's see, who you want to meet this person. Can they buy what you sell? What is the value you bring to them? Yada, yada, yada. And then we're going to help you systematically market to them so you can go make your presentation.
Got it.
So it's
So
more business development marketing than straight up all aspects. So I mean, marketing is sales, and and all that. So it's part of it. It just I think when some people think of marketing, they think of branding and all that stuff. We take existing brands, and then we just get them, basically get attention for them.
and that's
Right.
in the swag business. And what kind of businesses do you do the swag for? Like what's your top?
Oh, we've our so defense contractors, insurance companies, energy company, just about anybody. There's really no, if they're looking to develop business or if they're looking to engage their employees better, or their clients, we've got tools for all that stuff. And we offer, what we offer is just wonderful. We will offer hospitality service. So
Hmm,
my wife and I both are in the hospitality roots. So we over deliver. So we always want to make sure that we're giving them more information and more information, timely information, um, and then performing on delivery and all that stuff. So,
got it. And what do you feel like for a young man that is starting his sales career? What is the most important skill or trait to have in order to succeed in this business, in any business that has to do with sales?
well, there's a whole slug of them in my book, and none of
What's the
them
name of the book again?
bar tips. Everything I needed to know in sales, I learned behind the bar. So, as an
I
example,
love it. I love it. I love it.
I mean, so just take the first four off the top of my head. The importance of a proper greeting. How are you? What is your first impression you're making? Then, if you're trying to move the relationship on to the next level, what is your active listening skills like? What are your
Mm,
active listening skills like? Are you attentive? Are you looking interested? Are you interested? Um, are you nodding at the proper time? Are you, acknowledging what they're having to say? And oh, by the way, are you keeping your mouth shut?
yes, that's a big one, right? That's a huge one.
Got a
I love it.
great guys that I worked with years ago in the sporting goods business. They had I guess it was their dad's line. Their dad was an attorney, but they used it in the sales business when we worked for them. They'd get us all together at, big trade show. We got to cover off, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 different booths. Give us the rah rah speech, what you're going to be doing, this, that, and the other thing. Just very well presented, very professional guys. And then he just said, remember one, if you forget everything I just told you, remember this one thing. Never avoid an opportunity to keep your mouth shut.
The golden rule. He's right though. One of the when
Was
I
he right? Yeah.
yeah when I started in sales, it was in car sales, right? And I was doing horribly. Like I couldn't sell. So the manager told me, he stopped me. He says, "You keep talking yourself out of the sale." It took me a long time to understand how can I talk. I thought I'm supposed to just talk, 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 but no, you gotta shut up, just shut up for a second. And people tell you, right? They'll tell you what you need to know, their pain points, what they need to know for you to sell it to them. But you gotta hear it, right? I like that.
I mean, I think sometimes we kind of oversell these pain point routines. I mean, it's like, the guy wants to buy a car. Help him buy the car.
And that's it. Simple, done. And
Right?
that's kind of the way I went with it. I just sold them the car, and I start once I started staying quiet, it started working out for me a lot.
Right.
Like it
Yeah.
was good. So the swag business, I use swag as well. So I think that is pretty cool. What made you go into that direction? What was the vision?
Oh, well, there's a whole story behind it. It's a cockamamie story, but it wasn't because we went searching to be in the swag business. We just happened to. I had experience in the logo business for about, when I was in the sporting goods business. One of the lines we sold was a line called The Game, which was a cap company. But where if ever, it's on right on the side of the cap, there would
Okay.
be there'd be a flag.
Okay.
A G with the flag. And back in the day, it was the most popular cap. It was really where the cap thing really started to happen, right? And nobody planned it, but these guys, the guys of the game, Neil Stillwell and his brothers and all that, they started seeding caps to guys like Bobby Bowden, and so they this is before people started buying the sideline, right? So they just give them caps, and if they were on TV, I think they gave them $1,000 or something like that. So it was
Oh, nice.
not a lot of money. Now somebody's buying the sideline for $1 million.
What's the
Well,
sideline?
you buy, where let's say, I think, like I think Notre Dame is an Adidas school.
Oh, got it.
I think
Okay.
he does a lot of that. Basically they buy the sideline, so everybody whenever they give them the stuff. I don't know exactly how it all works these days, but anyway, so that that cap company um, was the real start to the cap business, where kids really started wearing hats all the time, and it was a white cap with a simple logo that was it was what we called the bar cap. Where'd you go to college?
In CAU in Carlos Albizu, Miami School.
Miami. So it could say NCA. What was it? NCA? You said
CAU.
CAU, and then it would have underneath it the name of the college. Simple, but it was 3 bars. People loved them, and the kids would take them, bring them home, wear them in the shower, cut out the backing, right here, the backing, so that then they would become form fitted.
Yeah, that's how I like my yeah. That's how I like my hats.
But the kids developed it.
No
We
way.
didn't. Well, the manufacturers did not develop it. And then all of a sudden, then we started making them that way, and then we'd start ripping we rip the
I
bill,
love those.
and so, but because over time, and you wear them in the shower enough, that's where it came up.
No
So,
way. That's a good little history into that. Seriously, I had
of
no.
course, that's Neil's opinion on it, but it's darn close if it's not it, because that was before Starter, and
Got
before
it.
Nike got into licensed products, and then they all came in and took it all over. These smaller companies were were eating up, and
Nice.
these guys bought and sold that company 2 or 3 different times, because
So so that's how you got started. That's where you started your quest.
yeah.
And
So I knew the logo business, right? So we knew how to. I mean, it wasn't, so I saw the value in it, and I saw the value in that. If I go sell 72 caps to um, Holy Cross, right? And I could sell 720 to Raytheon.
got it.
So that's kind of, so, but there was a little jump in between sporting goods and the time we went into the swag business, but yeah, it was, it was so it's been good to us. We are the original people working out of their houses. High deductibles. I've had high deductibles for 40 years. Oh, my deductibles went up to $3,000. Oh, really? Mine's been at 10 for the last 20 years.
I remember.
Oh, you got a sniffle. You got to pay. You got to pay out of pocket. We've been paying out of pockets forever.
Yep, that has been actually, now that you say it, yes, that has been the norm. I don't remember a time where that wasn't. So, yeah, so, okay, so the swag business. So, what would you tell someone that wants to get into the swag? I'm going to tell you, like, it's everywhere. Everyone uses the swag stuff. So,
Yeah,
it's a
I
huge
mean,
market. Do you know the numbers on the market by any chance? Like, what's
it's like a 20 plus billion.
Jeez. And
Yeah,
it ain't
20.
going nowhere, no matter what technology does,
No,
right?
I mean this. I mean it goes. It goes the way of the way of a recession. Sure, it's one of the
Of
first things that
course.
goes, right?
Of
But
course.
marketing is always the first thing that goes. But the what would I tell people? I mean, you better have a runway of a couple of years. You're not making any money.
Got it.
No. So it's like any entrepreneurial venture. You don't go out and and kill it overnight, unless you have some sort of in or whatever. By
course.
and large, you got to develop it over time. So, I
And
mean,
even
developing
still,
$500,000 business could take you 3 years.
yeah. Yeah. And you have to go through that process of it. So entrepreneurship, let's get into that. Why why do you like being an entrepreneur? I always ask the entrepreneur that because it's a tough gig, right? A lot of people look at an entrepreneur and they believe it's the best thing in the world, but there's a lot of hurdles and a lot of barriers. What is it for
Well,
you?
I'd like to call myself we're kind of a hybrid entrepreneur. I mean, yes, we have always been, I mean, since for 37 plus years, I've been a commissioned salesperson. So I don't, we've never had a safety net. We don't, as a matter of fact, funny story, this guy, so we're affiliated with a national company. We're owned and independently owned and operated affiliated. So this new guy comes involved with the, the, uh, the company and he wants to meet me, because we're one of the top players in our little world. Right.
No,
And so I said, sure. And he tells me how he's been in sales. When he was at Staples, you know, they did this, they did that, da 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 da. So I said to him, I said, listen, what's his name? Peter. Peter. Call it Peter for now.
he's
He said,
Peter
listen,
today.
Peter, I want you to understand something. I appreciate your credentials. But what you did at Staples and what we do every day out of our houses with no safety net, totally different.
Yeah,
Yeah. If we have no benefits, we don't have. So that's the entrepreneurial way, right? And believe me, I've always preferred it that way because we always did things like we bet on our health. So we didn't go out and spend $2,500 a month to get some Cadillac plan. We paid $500 a month, and we had the high deductibles, and we paid out of pocket for our visits to the doctor. And guess what? We were always ahead of the game.
for some reason it always worked out.
It's like the philosophy of not wanting to having no deductible on car insurance or $250. You know why 250 should be at least 1,000.
Yeah, like if it happens, or
You're not getting anything done for $250.
of
So,
course.
anyways, so that was that's the thing about when we talk about being entrepreneurs, we have to eat what we kill. We have to go out and find it. There's no pre-sales or unless we hire somebody to do that stuff, which we've got. We just have people that assist us in that process I was telling you about, the micro marketing process. Positive activity is what we call
Positive activity. I
it. Okay.
like that.
Um, so anyways, yeah. So that's if you want to control what you can control, and you got something you can sell, and you've got time. I mean, you have a little cushion. You haven't got kids yet, or you're not looking at go for it. But recognize there's no long-term safety net. There's no, yeah, you can develop, you can have your own SEP IRA and whatnot, but you're never going to get any stock options
That's
or
right.
any of that type of fun stuff that I've got plenty of friends that have retired on stock options. Um, so, but it was never going to be a place for me. It was not, I would not play well in that world.
See, that's what I've noticed is like it's a mindset, and certain people have that mindset because it's also a huge risk, like you said, all those risks and the risk of it not working out, right? Putting all this time. Do you think it's worth it? Like living that type of lifestyle? Like why? Why would you live that when you're obviously you can get a job anywhere you want, right? Because you have these skills. What is it that motivates you to do it anyway, even though you know all these things you just mentioned?
Well, I mean, I appreciate the compliment, but I'm limited to what I can do. I mean, if I and whatever I would do, I would go back and start from the beginning. So
Mm,
wherever, it's like, I'm not, nobody's going to hire Neil to manage 300 people.
got it.
It's not going to happen. It's not my skill set. Could I go back and even at this stage of my life? Could I go back and kill something in a couple of 3 years? Maybe. It all depends on how passionate I was about the product, and and how that was set up for success.
Got it.
A lot of people go out and do things and they're set up for failure out of the gate. I mean, all these things like insurance. If you want to go sell insurance, you want to go sell investments. Well, guess what? It's all entrepreneurial. It's
Yeah,
all, they're not going to keep you if you're not performing.
that's right.
There's no difference. I mean, it's like, so, but this way, nobody's hawking over me and, telling us what we're doing wrong and this, that, and the other thing. Got a simple way of doing business. Simple ways work very well for 40, some approaching 40 years. And so we stick with it. And I don't have to listen to, some 42-year-old manager,
Telling you what to, yeah.
which, they could be right, but I just might not take it well. Right.
Got it. That's a really good point. Like,
All depends on how it's delivered.
that's right.
I mean, if they've got a Dale Carnegie presentation and they say, Neil, listen, I think what you're doing here is really, really, really spot on. I know you've been doing it that way. Have you ever just thought maybe we could tweak it and go this way for a little bit? The Socratic method,
Yeah.
right? I could clearly get involved, do something like that.
But you don't want to take the risk.
I am from a kid who was not coachable growing up. I am very coachable. I am open
Got it.
to. I mean, I've got a brilliant daughter. If she has any things that she wants to add into what we're doing. 36 years old. Tell me, honey, what should I do? So
So would you say you're more of a leader when it comes to all these things? And that's, I mean, you're coachable. That's a good leadership trait, right? So how do you feel like a leader in what you do?
oh yeah, I mean, I lead a mastermind group in our industry, in our organization of about 30 people. I mean, everybody contributes. I just started it.
Got it.
I do things that I've done in my life. We have a special needs son, and we've done some remarkable things that weren't, but when looking back on it, were nothing more than just connecting dots, which is what we do in sales. But we've done some things, developed a first of its kind parent group to support the schools. I started the first of its kind here in New Hampshire, in this area of New Hampshire, the special needs classroom in a community college. So,
Wow.
and, and then we're forever discovering new and different things that help our boy, and we try to promote those to make sure everybody else hears them. So we were on a call last night on that, and so it's not, these simple philosophies are not just for business; they're for up and down the street, family stuff, and relationship development in all cases. I mean, tomorrow I go meet with the school, the place that my son goes every day, and meet with the executive director because I want to talk to her about something that I brought to her that I'm not certain how it's going, and I'm uncertain they're putting their time in to make it go well, and it's very important for them. So then I throw in a little bit of dad hat and go in and talk to her about that,
Of
and
course.
so, but yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
look at you. Okay. So let's touch upon that because if that's a community you're serving, I would definitely like to put that out there. So what's one of the is has it been tough in raising a child with a handicap? How hard is that? Like from a parent, I'm asking you as a parent, how hard is that, and what are some of the challenges you face?
well, is I mean, he's what we call non-speaking autistic,
Oh,
right? So it's had tons of challenges over the years, but we typically wind up we have wind up with good people. They take care of him during the day. He lives with the family now. All that's going really well. Um, but yeah, it's you never know what's around the corner. I
yeah.
mean, we still got to figure out where he's going to be for the rest of his life.
Which
So.
is the big worry, right? As a parent, that's something that keeps you up at night. Like,
Well, I mean, we're also, because of the way we operate, we're also very positive people.
good.
We really usually can figure it out. you know. But do we run out of time? You know, you can stop worrying about it. Don't worry about it. You know, I
It's
don't want
the
to worry
worry
about
doesn't help.
it. But
Yeah,
just
my grandson is autistic. I'm also neurodivergent, so it's pretty cool to talk to a parent that is actively like working on these things and think not only working on it for your child and yourself, but you're giving knowledge away as well with the group. You want to talk about that group a little bit more, so it's out there, the parents group.
oh no, that's long gone. I mean,
Oh, that's okay.
that was when he was in grade school. You know, in the school system. Um, because what we did was we decided that we needed to jump in and do something to help support what was going on.
Yeah.
The regular way people would think about it is it would say you got to go fight for everything you can get. Well, you know, some days, I mean, they have budgets and whatnot. You know, I don't know. So what can we do to help? So we kind of spun it and became a positive influence on the system.
Good for you.
And yeah, and so where is that? Oh, yeah. Hold on one second. Oh, there it is. See what is that right there? You read
Oh,
that?
I see it. Look at that. That
So
is amazing.
it was, that we didn't go looking for that because we didn't do any of this stuff for recognition. We just thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, and do you have any tips for a parent that's dealing with that with a child with handicaps, right? That can help them now. Someone that's just
Yes, we have a whole speech on it. Our the new book that we're writing right now is navigating the special needs world with positive activity. So
nice.
as much as they can, and this is like, although that's easy to say, because what I'm going to say is they need to stay in a positive frame of mind as much as they can. Right? And they got to find those little wins every day where your son or daughter is making some strides, and then always be
Mm,
open to new and new opportunities to help them get better. That's the only thing,
oh,
and that's what you got to
yeah,
do every day. I mean, and then you understand the systems, get out there, get involved. I mean, it's overwhelming. There's no question about it. And and this is one of the greatest things because we had our own gig. We were always around. You know, we didn't. We as I said, we worked out of the house. So he went off to school. He'd come back, and we'd be there. So we're in a little bit of a unique situation. So, but I think in anything that you're doing, you need to stay in a positive mindset.
definitely. I like that. I like that a lot, and I think that's a really good tip. Do you think like the school systems have gotten better at uh, working with children that are handicapped? You think that's improved?
No,
No, I don't think so
I think
either.
they try.
Yeah.
I'm not saying people aren't trying, but we went and gave, I don't know, I want to say about 4, 5, 6 years ago, in the last 10 years, Lori gave a speech to parents, and we were invited to the local school because of our affiliation. And they, I'm listening. First of all, I'm looking at all the crap we did over the years. I'm like, oh, I was getting tired looking at it, right? And then the guy, but in the end, they're all still in the same place,
Uh,
just all in the same place, you know. And I don't know what's going to happen in this this next little bit with Robert Kennedy Jr., but he's the only one paying attention to what might have happened to these kids.
mm,
That's a combo of
that's
things.
yeah, because it increased, right? Autism increased. Like I don't know. I heard.
1980 it was 1 in 10,000. Now it's 1 in 36.
There has to be something there, right? It's just there's if you believe
Well,
in
that's
truth.
it. And instead of like engaging the guy and some of his thoughts and whatnot, they shut him down and say he's anti-vax and he's not.
No, no.
No, I mean he's a quirky guy.
Yeah,
you know. But there's
but he
nobody
has something to
there's
add.
nobody else there's nobody else paying attention to the
Yeah,
it may not be that, but it may be a combination of a number of things.
of
But
course.
if you don't like look at it in that totality, you go, something's going on.
Something. And I think it's important to start looking at it. How about society? You think society has become a little bit better or treat people with handicaps like your son or disabilities like your son? Has it gotten better for him?
Oh, I think so. I never really had any. I mean, of course, I've never heard any of the snide comment. I think I remember I heard one around the pool at this country club we belong to. This kid will never amount to anything, or something like that. And it was like, some kid. What am I going to do? Get in
Yeah.
beef with the kid?
Yeah.
Um,
But you can't fight the kid.
no.
That's it.
Bring your old man over here, right? But the no, I think the kids. I think kids are very kind. I think people are very kind.
Yeah,
Um,
I see it too. There's more understanding around it and more accepting. Okay, so I see on your one sheet solve problems with creativity. Can you talk about that a little bit? I like that.
well, that's a classic example. So instead of like getting in this routine with the schools and whatnot, we decided to join them. How can we help? And then we used our business acumen to do things like we brought it. We did a conference here. We fed. So we took we fed 300 people breakfast and lunch, had six top notch speakers, and they never left the city. And they got CEU credits and
Good
all
for
that.
you.
And we did the so here's where the kind of the creative thought comes in. I mean, none of it but connecting dots. In this meeting we had at the local at the office, they were talking about how we have these two high schools in this town that Nashua North has got a hospitality program. Oh, really? Wow. And then they have a marketing program. I said, no kidding. You want to take a stab on who did the food for our event?
No, but go ahead, please tell me.
The kids.
No, that's very cool.
And who did all the brochures and all the pamphlets and kind of sat people and did the event stuff?
The kids.
The kids. So we just
What?
took the funds that we had and we bought the raw materials. I think we did all that. We paid $1,500 as an organization, and the school system decided that they paid $1,500.
Oh wow. That's good. That's really good.
It's great. Yeah. But that's what I mean about that's a
Man.
creative thought, and it wound up being this really great thing. We had another conference, we called it the Make It Happen night, things that people that work for people that they just had people speak on and
Okay.
whatnot. I had a comedian be the MC.
Oh, great idea. Yeah.
I
It
mean, it was like
breaks
he
up
couldn't believe he was there. It was a Monday night or something like that. So I paid him $300 or something like that. But
yeah.
he did a nice job. He kind of laughed at himself being there, and working with special needs parents, and so that type of stuff. Again, none of it is like, oh my God, splitting the atom. You guys are unbelievable. Just doing it.
Just be creative, a little bit creative. And that comes from that positive mindset, right? You have to be in a positive mindset to look at the problem that way. So,
Yeah. So when you're in positive activity is the practice of getting your mindset shift properly so that you are in a place of positivity. Because that will lead you to open minded, divergent thinking, solution providing creativity. And then what are your productivity steps after that? What are you trying to accomplish?
okay.
You know, and that, yeah, I've used it in business, I've used it in my music.
Music, you do music too? Look at you. What kind of music do you do? I'm interested.
So I play a little piano and I sing. And I've been playing the piano kind of my whole life, but never really broke through where it's my own gratification.
Got it.
Although I did get invited to an audition for this big band to sing with the big band. So
What's the
that'll be,
band?
it's a local one.
Got it.
So it's like, but it's a 19 piece, so I'm singing Fly Me to the Moon, Beyond the Sea, standards like that. Um, but yeah, so I mean, when she wanted me to play and sing, I said, all right, well, I know how to do this. How do I accompany myself? She showed me. I put together a 90-day plan. Next thing you know, there I am in front of 200 people.
Uh, that's huge. That's big. So you
So
got paid.
I'm sorry.
That's good. That's huge. So you
Yeah.
played for an audience. Yeah. How did that feel?
Well, it felt great. I mean, it was a little nerve wracking because, as a matter of fact, the guy came up to me afterwards, and this assistant executive director of the school said, "Hey, how'd you think you did?" I said, "I think I did great." I said, "You know why?" He goes, "No." I said, "I got lost and I found my way home."
Oh, I love that. I love that. Love that. Love that. So do you want to talk about some of your services and products? I know I see here you do speaking. What else do you do? What else do you
So
offer
through
the
our
world?
positiveactivity.net, that's kind of our speaking series, and it all stems from that little positive ditty I just gave you.
Got it.
Um, so we do that, and that can be found at positiveactivity.net. We certainly are still in the swag business, and that is rogmark.net, rogmark.net. And we're as good as anybody at it, if not better. We over deliver.
Cool.
And yeah, those are the things that we do.
And how did they get your book? Where would they
Go
go?
to positive. The best way to do it is go to positiveactivity.net and click right on there, and it takes you right to the. Amazon's got kind of funky search engine, now and again. So that'll take you right to it and pick it up. It's great for anybody that's considering sales, a job change, a kid graduating high school.
Yeah, that's a
You know,
challenge.
that they um, they work on their interpersonal skills.
Got it.
They get their face out of the phone. They go take a job as a waiter or a bartender or a retail person. Work with the public. You got to be able. I mean, you got to be able to think on your feet and dispute resolve, and ask questions, listen,
Yeah, all the sales
all those things.
skills.
Yeah.
And so it's great. So a young person learn some sales skills, right? Because anything you do in life is has the sales. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, again, none of it is. If you have a desire to go and get into business or work with people in any form of fashion, you got to be able to develop a relationship.
And that's in everything, right? Yeah. Like I just realized that not too long ago that I'm in the mental health, which I didn't think it had anything to do with sales. It's still sales. Still the way you make those networks, like you said, talking to people. There's still a lot of skills that transfer over into this career. So
One of the greatest lessons I learned, and that I always like to tell people, in these environments, is a little thing I learned by this guy Jimmy Gallahue when I was in the food business. Jimmy was kind of a wise guy, sales guy, tops of the trees guy though. So the guy you always looked at, you wanted to help out, you wanted to learn from him and whatnot, and so so I would do whatever he needed, when I was just getting started. And you want to go me to deliver something, you want to go to this, whatever. I used to attend bar at his parties, all
got
this
it.
stuff. Right. So he said to me one time out on the road, he just looked at if he says if you don't hear anything else I'm saying, nothing else sinks in. Remember this: whenever anything goes wrong, start here.
Mm,
What was my
that's
role
right.
in this? How could I have done better?
That's right.
You know, be humble.
That's right.
Right. And one of the ditties that we put on that in the book, being right is overrated.
I love it. Yeah, it gets you nowhere. Yeah, you're right on. So yeah, starting with yourself. So now that you say that, I will. So in barriers, right? When someone faces these barriers, how can they use some of these concepts to overcome any barrier they face? Or what do you think is an important thing to
Breathe and keep your mouth shut, and then
just shut up?
examine what you did.
Yes,
Don't just
Yes.
go pointing the fingers. Well, the guy in the truck, he screwed up. He didn't deliver it. No, guy in the warehouse, he must have messed up. No, did I place the order properly?
That's right.
Did I get it in time? Did I convey to my customer service person what I needed to do? Um, and you're much less likely to make the mistake again if you go that route.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
so we so I think it's just such a great thing to remember. And guess what? It happens when you get in a beef with your wife.
One of the most important.
What could I have done better? Or your kids or whatever. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
your other relationships. I tend to go on the sword, because a lot, because I just want it to be over. All right, listen, how did I do that? All right, you know what? I could have done better. I don't, a lot of times I don't just say, I'm going on the sword. I was wrong. I just say, you know what? I could have done better here.
I like that.
And I,
It's the
and
only
I'm,
way to learn, right? It's the only way to learn how to do better.
uh,
You have to look at yourself because you can only control what you do. You can't control what the world does. So I like that tip. I think that's a really, really good tip. And yeah, I agree with you completely. So
you want to hear a funny story that goes with that?
yes, please, please.
So I'm assuming everybody's got different audiences because this is the
Yeah.
one I use all the time. But the so we're working. I was like probably around a happy hour, early happy hour time at this place called Tia's, and not yet that busy. So this woman comes up to the bar and says to my buddy Dennis, says, "I'd like an extra dry vodka martini, up." Okay, Dennis does it like he always does. Ices down the glass, ices down the up glass, puts a little water in to make sure it's chilling up, pours the booze, stirs it, pours out the ice out of the up glass, pours the drink in there, little lemon twist. Here you go. She takes a sip out of it. That's not dry enough. Oh, okay. Now, do you know what's in a martini? What's supposedly in a martini?
No,
A
I
regular
don't.
martini, not these cockamamie martinis that
No,
everything.
no, tell me, tell me. I don't want to get it wrong.
So if a martini, you just say, I want a martini, that's gin.
Got it.
Okay. And it's with an olive. Right. If you ask for a Gibson, it's gin with a pearl onion.
Okay.
Right. And then there's dry vermouth in there as well,
Okay.
which is kind
Yep,
of
I
a
know that is.
wine type deal. Extra dry means we don't want any dry vermouth. We just want.
Okay, okay.
Right?
Got it.
Now, the dirty little secret is nobody ever wants the dry vermouth.
Really?
No, not in the old days. Today, with the dirty martinis and this, I don't know. I don't know
Mm.
what's going on right now, but back in
Society's
those days,
changed.
you just wanted the booze, right?
Got it.
So, anyways, Dennis. So this woman says it's not dry enough. So Dennis comes by me, and he says, I've been doing this for 15 years. I haven't put a drop of vermouth in a martini yet. Right. So he goes back. He ices down the mixing glass, pours it where she can see it, not in her face, but just so she can observe that the only bottle in his hand is a vodka bottle.
Got it.
That's the whole routine. Same thing. Ice the glasses, this, that, and the other thing. The twist. Boom. Takes a sip. That's the one. Same drink. Same drink.
Same drink. Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything.
What did we learn here? Right?
Perception is everything.
Well, it's just like he could have told her the same story he told me.
Mhm.
Got into some sort of back and forth beef with her. Then the crowd sees this routine. Who knows if she escalates it or whatnot? He decides to take the high road.
I love it.
Right? Pours the probably saved the vodka and put it in another drink. So at the worst case scenario, the place lost 2 ounces of booze.
Got it.
Kept the
I'm not
customer.
a client.
Okay, yeah. So and kept the harmony of
Yeah.
the evening. Yeah, because those things have a way of just like tarnishing an evening or whatnot.
Of course,
And
of
talking,
course.
argument over.
And if it was the same drink, what it tells you is she was looking for confrontation, or she was not in that mindset because it's the same drink. So that was
But
okay. I like that.
some people just don't know what they're talking about. I mean, it's like,
Got it.
I mean, it's and who knows? There might have been too much. Maybe even if the stirring of it, maybe there's too much. Who knows? But in the end,
It's the same drink.
he took the high road, and it worked out great for him and us. He's one of those guys. I haven't seen him in years. I'd love to see him again. I just haven't seen him probably in 20, 25 years. It's just he was way too smart for us. I
Yeah,
mean,
because he could
guys,
have.
why are you working with us? This is like you're way too smart for us.
But
And then
there's good money in bartending, right? There's
I'm
good
sorry.
like money in bart. There's good money in bartending.
Yeah, there's a trap there, right? It's good, but it's not great. Like there's a ceiling.
Got
I
it.
mean, it's not like I think a really really high end guy was telling me this. They try to do something here in Massachusetts. Uh, they wanted them to wipe out. They wanted them to raise the minimum wage for tipped workers
Got it.
to $15 an hour. Well, that subsequently all the meals have got to go up and the booze has got to go up
Of
because
course.
right now they're paying them $5 an hour plus,
Got
but it's all tipped employees. I don't know if you ever worked in it, but that's what it is.
Yep. It's the tip based. Yep.
So, but they finally told them that they voted it out,
Got
right?
it.
So, but that would have crushed the business because there would be no. Then there would be you'd be making $15 an hour. Maybe you'd get to 20 with some tips. Now you can get to 40 or 50. Right, and on a good night. So yeah, some nights are really, it's really good. I mean, if what Trump holds, I mean, he just said the other day, no tax on tips. I mean, that certainly helps him
Well,
out.
that would be beautiful. I mean, that would be for people that work on tips, yeah, because they do take a high risk, right? They could be a bad night.
Oh yeah,
Um,
you never know. I mean, this place Tears, where I met my wife, that was all weather dependent. I mean, the first month we were open, it was June, rained the whole month. So
yeah.
instead of having, on a good night, well, now on a good night they've got like 10 bartenders back there. But now that on a crappy night you'd have three. If it was inside only and not outside.
Do
So
you
yeah.
have any bartending that you said one? Any Did you see any fights or anything that while you were a
Oh
bartender?
yeah. Well, I mean, I was threatened a number of times, and some guy came in and he was drinking Cuervo on the rocks with a lime,
Oof,
and he had many of them.
many.
And I said to the manager, I said, I'm going to shut this guy off, and he is not going to like it. I will
Good
guarantee.
deal.
I'll guarantee you that. Oh, and he did not. But I had already secured the manager, the doorman, so we were all, we all knew what was going to happen.
You already.
So that was interesting. Some guy's father said his father was a judge and he was going to have me arrested for not serving him because he was hammered.
No,
You know, I don't think your father would be taking your side on that.
at all. I think you would agree with what I just did. So you don't go out there and kill somebody on the road. So
So
yes.
here's a great one though. So this kind of a combo story of growing up and so growing up, my brothers, my next oldest brother is 8 years older than me, right? And we're best of friends, and no, I've been for a long time. But I mean, but there was that difference, growing up, and I became friendly with his friends too as the gap closed because as we got older, whatever. So there was a guy by the name of Stanley Fishbein. I knew this guy Stanley Fishbein was his name. So I remember one day saying, I'm probably call me 14 and he's 22, right? And somebody says, "Oh yeah, Bobby Henu over there. Um, he's he's a fisherman too." Bobby Henu, who's Bobby Henu? That's Stanley Fishbein. No, it's Robert Henyu. I know him as Stanley. I'm confused. Turns out, so Stanley is was a doppelganger. Oh, Bobby Henyu was a doppelganger with another guy in that group's friend from high school, the real Stanley Fishburne.
No, the real way.
So he kind of looked like him. Okay. So I'm working the bar one night, and guy comes up, orders a round of drinks, gives me a credit card to pay the bill. Guess who it is? Stanley Fishburne, the real
The
Stanley.
real Stanley.
And I said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Are you from Haverhill, Massachusetts?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Do you know Robert Smith?" He goes, "Yeah, I went to high school with him." I said, "Oh, if I got a story for you." Of course, then he was king of swing. He knew the bartender. And I was like, no. So there you go. Yeah, and at that time, he was probably in his 30s. I was just 23 when I worked the bar there. 23 to 25 or 26. I think I finished up when I was 26.
Nice.
And haven't poured a drink behind the bars in 30. I'll be 38 years this June. It's a
No
long
way.
time.
Look, you're using the skills you learned there, right? They stayed with you, man. They stayed with you, which is cool. And I think that that's part of your mindset where you look at things and you think creatively. You take those positives, things you could use out of everything that happens. So I think it's awesome. So okay, so how do people contact you? We already said your websites, but how if they wanted to talk to you, what
So Neil, Neil at positiveactivity.net.
That's right. Thank you for joining me, Neil. It was a great pleasure speaking to you. Anything you need from me, just let me know.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
See y'all.
Repeat after me. I am